We're live. Hello, everyone. We got Mel Doerr joining us. How are you doing, Mel?
I'm good, thanks. I was a little yesterday. I took the day off from work because I couldn't talk. By last night, my voice was better. I just think I've been using it too much.
Mm. Did you have readings today, or did you take?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I took the day off, but I've got reading. I had readings today and tomorrow. I mean, I work 5 days a week doing readings,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm glad.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well,
um,
and it's a lot too because you had a show with Kim yesterday and
it's nice.
Linda on Monday, and so I'm sure you're using that voice all day too.
Well, I'm kind of wanting to get in as much as I can because I'm working Monday. I've got a show with Linda, and then we're leaving for Ohio on Wednesday.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
I won't be there Wednesday, Thursday on YouTube because it's a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be back the following Monday. I wish everybody is safe and happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
Yes.
And it kind of starts Advent season. And I've got a little infomercial.
Yes.
All right. Um, I didn't really know it, but somebody pointed to my attention that I reached 20,000 subscribers. So
Congrats.
thank you. So Sherry Hinkle, Voices from the Swamp, and Aiden are going to work together, putting together the guest list. And it's going to be the celebration Sunday, December the 10th at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Um, that's subject to change, but for right now, that's where it's at. And Kevin, you're hitting your 10,000 mark.
I'm getting close. I'm the last I checked, I think was I'm just a little under 300 away. So the goal has been hopefully by the end of this year, if not very beginning of next year, to hit 10K. So we got big milestones in our channels. So
You'll
and
make it, I'm sure.
we were
I
just
researched.
talking too. It doesn't even seem like it. It seems like we've had shows together for like a year, but January, beginning of January, will be 2 years that we've been doing shows
I
together.
remember when we first talked, you didn't even have enough subscribers to get monetized. I think it was like 600.
Yeah, I
I
yeah,
told
I was just under.
you.
Uh-huh.
I remember when you were working as a waiter, I said, no worries. When you start doing YouTube, your readings are going to pick up. Everything's
Yeah.
going to pick up. And I'm happy for you. I'm
Thank
always happy for a success story.
No, thank you, Mo. And
Um,
I'm looking forward to your channel celebration next month.
yep. I'm going to invite Linda Grindle, you, Kevin Lewis, Kim Copeland. Hopefully, we can get everybody in the community, in the psychic community.
Hmm.
So Sherry's coming up with an email list. She and Aiden Davis are working on it, and they're going to come up with like the little thumbnails and all that
Hmm.
stuff. And yay! So
And also, too, just for everybody, please do us a favor. Please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Go over to Mel's channel and subscribe. It really does help, and we appreciate all of the support with that. So,
what I'm doing for my 20K is to my subscribers, I'm giving away that's hard to say, three free half-hour sessions. And to my members, the members are the people who pay monthly, I'm giving away 3 1-hour sessions and 3 Aloha shirts.
that's
So
awesome.
what they're going to do, the winners will send me a picture and I can get an Aloha shirt. I'll design it with the picture of their pet or themselves all over that shirt.
Very cool.
Kind of a cute idea.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, my friend.
And I'm looking forward to your 10K. So yay.
Well, me and Mel are going to be reading on some politics tonight, politics, current events, a lot going on. Is there anything that you want to touch up before we get into to subscribers' questions? I'm just getting some started, so if anybody has a question, write it in the chat, and
I
we'll get
took
to it when we
some
get to talk.
notes here.
Yeah.
Um, it amazes me that with Santos, they turned him over to the Department of
Hmm.
Justice. But I'm thinking the money that they spend on special counsels to investigate alleged criminal behavior by some Republicans is astounding.
Yeah.
At least Democrats are behaving. They really don't have that much on Hunter Biden. But when I hear they want to waste more money to impeach now, grab this one, the head of Homeland Security. That's Miss Marjorie Taylor Greene, Miss Fashion herself,
Yeah.
Miss Faux Fur.
And when they're not planning, fake attacks against the other side, they're fighting between each other and fist fighting.
Oh, you're right. That they're imploding, but now she wants to impeach him because he didn't do anything she says to stop immigrants at the border. Give me
Mm,
a break. That's not criminal. Those aren't high
no.
crimes or misdemeanors. So they're wasting money. But today it came out that there's substantial evidence on Thursday came out to be used that George Santos used campaign funds for personal purposes.
Hmm.
They should expelled him a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, they just voted not that long ago to bring up.
They played him like a fiddle. They
Uh,
didn't get rid of him because they wanted his vote, right?
mm,
And now everybody, okay, so guess what? And now all of a sudden you want to expel him, but that takes 2/3 of a vote.
mm,
But I see him under indictment. I see him going to jail,
yeah.
and I
We,
see him being extradited to Brazil.
mm,
But here's something that's going to happen. He's going to come forward with some damning evidence against some House Republicans, but the problem will be his credibility. Who's going to
mm,
believe him?
yeah.
Who's going to believe him? And if they don't expel him from Congress, it's not going to look good. So those Republicans who vote, those MAGA Republicans who vote to keep him in office, well, guess what?
Yeah.
And the thing that really frosts me is most of them are so anti-LGBTQ, but yet they let somebody who's gay because they knew that they could get him to vote the way they wanted.
Hmm.
But my question is, who's manipulating who? Are they manipulating him or is he manipulating them?
Yeah. It's interesting though too, because with Santos, even though they're so anti-LGBTQ, I do feel like there's some that aren't, that are somewhat friendly with him, but he really feels like an outcast, even with the Republicans. Like he can't sit at the cool kids table. That's kind of what I picked up.
He's a pathological liar and a sociopath.
Yeah, they don't care
For
for
the
him.
purposes only.
Hmm. Well, and he did announce with that too that he won't be running for re-election.
Oh, he did a whole Donald Trump thing. I'm innocent. It's a witch hunt.
Hmm.
They're after me. I'm resigning because of my family. He doesn't give two flying, what's about his family.
Part of me, even I don't know if he's voted out, which I do think that they'll do another vote with it. My guys have always told me he'll be the first one to leave out of the Republicans, and he'll be replaced with a Democrat before the election. But I feel like the pressure of it before, he's always been like so gun ho. He's running for re-election. He's not stepping down. I almost feel like he might resign because of the public pressure from it if he's not voted out.
Well, if
He's
he's
thinking
smart,
about it.
if he's smart, he'll resign before he gets voted out. But
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a card for Santos real quick.
it's funny. People in this country worried about radicalized Islam. They should worry about radicalized ultra right wing MAGAs. That's what they should worry about, because some of those people are becoming radicalized as well.
Hmm. I get that his luck is up. It's a turning point for him with the Wheel of Fortune. He was the thief in the night, taking money. He's trying to hang in there, but it's like divided. I think even with the Republican Party, they're divided whether to keep him or not.
And they
And
have. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I feel like the Democrats, all of them, will support removing him now, and I feel like it might be about I don't know, at 50%, but pretty close to 50% of Republicans might vote him out too.
And I just read that somebody came forward, some guy, and alleged that Santos made inappropriate gestures or did something. So that's going to come out.
That came out when he first got elected.
Yeah, but they've used this guy as a witness. But I see him prosecuted federally.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what Trump's going to say about it, because we all know that Santos was all about Trump.
Yeah.
But I see the 6 of spades which would mean it'll come out about his ill-gotten gains,
Mm-hmm.
how he misused a lot more than campaign money.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's 24 charges or something they're looking at. Um, but I see him in jail,
Yeah, I've said that. I feel the same way, Mel.
and I see the two clubs, which would be a journey.
Yeah.
Brazil.
Oh, okay. So some travel back. I felt that too, but I do feel like he'll be prosecuted here in the U.S. too.
He better get a good lawyer.
Yeah,
Um,
he's toast.
the ACLU is not going to help him. That's for sure.
Mm.
Um, yeah, he is total. He is TT, total toast. Pretty bad when the Republicans don't even want you.
Yeah, right. It's you
But
said totally toast. I was thinking TF, but we'll keep it PG.
I got it. You got that right. I just wondered where those Republicans were during all of this. They didn't say much, did they?
No. Well, they have such a short majority,
Mhm.
but I think with this ethics investigation coming to the surface, I think Republicans are, it's not worth it for them anymore. And I could be wrong. Maybe they try to keep him in there, but one way or another, he either resigns, he gets arrested and is forced it out. But I almost feel like they'll vote him out.
I see him gone.
Hmm. All
Okay.
right. Was there anything else that you wanted to look at before we get some of these questions, or do you want to get into some of the questions?
Let's get to the questions. I'm still starring here, so you go ahead and I'm looking. How's that?
All right.
You post, I'll star.
Well, we pretty much just covered Sweetie Darling Lulu's question. Is Santos a goner now? Yes. Yes, he'll be leaving.
Arrivederci, you ought to go, George. Kevin, you're
This
freezing.
is more of a comment. Am I frozen?
No, you're okay now. Zach,
Um, it's more of a comment than a question, but he says he's wary of the Trump GOP Twilight Zone horror show and their attempts to make America into a banana republic. God keep us safe.
well,
Yeah.
Zach, that's a good comment because, like I said, Trump is, if I'm elected, I'm going to stop Muslims from coming in this country and blah, blah,
Hmm.
blah, blah. It's a witch hunt, whatever. I need one of
Yeah.
those crispy up-tos.
I just had Kim Carey from Intuitive View on yesterday on the channel, and me and her were talking a little bit too. Like, I mean, Trump's always his energy's starting to get even more darker than
Oh,
usual.
it's always been dark. It's just coming it's just coming to the surface.
Yeah, it just feels like it's getting a little bit more extreme. But yeah, I mean, it's always been dark. But I just, it's there's so much drama going on, and I know it's hard for us just to kind of stay nice and grounded and kind of work through it. But really, everyone, try your best not to dive into the fear. If you feel like you're getting fearful or watching too much news, take a break from that. Go outside, get some deep breaths of fresh air in. We're gonna get through it, but
But
it's
keep your voice.
yes, keep your voice. Use
But
this to motivate you to the changes that we want to see for our country. That's really why it's all coming out, and it's hard. It's to bring um, things to the surface that have been hidden for so long, and so that we can make those necessary changes that we need to for our democracy.
well, the other thing is like I said, Trump. I'm going to
Mhm.
revoke the visas of anybody that's pro Palestine. I'm gonna
He's
stop.
pretty much quoting Hitler now.
Right. I'm going to stop Muslims from coming to this country. Well, he vilified them before,
Hmm.
and then LGBTQ and Mexicans, and then the Chinese, the China virus. You know. So
Yeah.
you know what, Zach? I'll tell you what. So we hear those MAGAs talking about radicalized Islam. What they should be talking about is radicalized MAGAs.
Hmm.
I feel like church lady. Radicalized
We're
MAGA.
going to see that, though, by the way, before the next election. That
I'm sorry.
implosion, that split is going to happen in the Republican Party. And it's kind of hard to believe it now, but we're getting to a point where these Republicans have really had enough of Trump and in the MAGA extremism. They know it's costing them elections and their future.
So
That
we need to worry about that rise to that fascism. The other thing is most of the mass shootings in this country,
yeah,
who are they done by? These radicalized MAGA ultra nationalists that think it's okay to take guns and go out and kill people.
yeah.
So you know what, Zach, that does concern me. The radicalization of the ultra right, but they won't win.
Hmm.
But it's up to us to make sure they don't.
Right. No, I agree with that. We can't be complacent or hide from it. But it also doesn't do us any good to sit in that fear energy either.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know,
And I understand it too because it is getting scary. Um, and Trump, I mean, he's always been a bit extreme. Even when he was president and before he got elected, he was spewing hateful rhetoric about immigrants and all of that. But it's getting dangerous now, where he's going after his political enemies, and really, if he got elected, it would be like the end of our democracy. So I understand the fear behind it, but it's just don't focus on the negative. Focus on us all coming together, making sure that Biden and Democrats do good in 2024, and just keep the faith. I think that that's just so important. We don't need to attract more energy to make us even more fearful.
well, some people say they don't want to vote for Biden because of the whole Israel-Palestine thing. But here's what I
Mhm.
say: if you don't vote for Biden, that's a vote for Trump.
Yeah,
If he even gets the nomination,
I see things being turned around by then,
so do I.
where it's an issue now for Biden, and I don't even get that either because Biden is um, trying to call for ceasefire and bring aid to the Palestinians. Um, he doesn't have a war with Palestine. It's Israel. So I mean, he can go up against Netanyahu, and we're starting to see him do that a little bit more. But I think come next year when we're voting, I think things are de-escalated a little bit, and I think people will be happy with how Biden handled the
Well,
situation.
this whole Hamas thing that was orchestrated by Iran, but who was behind it? Putin. It's a playbook from Putin.
Hmm.
It was done to take the eyes off Ukraine, but that won't work either.
Yeah,
And Netanyahu's using it as wag the dog. I just
and
read
stay out of prison.
in Gaza about all these news blackouts, and
Hmm.
the word can't get out. Why do you think that is? Because Netanyahu wants to control the media. He's
Hmm.
another banana republic dictator, and I
Yeah,
see him gone.
but I see Biden being crucial for this two-state solution that's going to happen in the future too, and I think that might be where things
I
start
do
to be
see a
a turnaround.
two-state solution. I mean,
Yeah,
I believe in having Israel. Don't get me wrong. I'm all
yeah.
about that. But on the same token, when they say the hospital is harboring these people, and then there's all these news blackouts and all this meat and all the, the word can't get out. What are they trying to hide?
Hmm.
That's what that makes me think. You
Yeah,
know. So Netanyahu, I think, is playing a little bit of wag the dog, but I see him gone.
I agree. I don't see him being successful, and I see his I see, obviously it's not him. It wasn't orchestrated by him, but I feel like it's his lack of um, defense around the whole situation, like his own ignorance, is what allowed the situation to happen. And I see him being held accountable for that.
That's good. Can I just put one up here? This is a good
Of
one.
course,
All right, I started because I'll let you read it.
Trump's lawyers are having trouble for filing
Miss
for a mistrial, which was done without letting Judge Engoron know. No filing without him seeing papers first. They mentioned his assistant a lot for the mistrial.
So by them doing that, my intuition tells me that that's a violation of the gag order.
Yeah, well, the gag order was appealed, so it's not in place at the moment.
Well, they're going to lose it on appeal.
No, I agree.
Okay, but I don't know. But they did that. They did that because Trump wants to use this as a political rally.
Of course.
But I see this going through the appeals court very quickly, and they're going to say no, the gag order holds. Okay,
Hmm.
unless the judge just uses another gag order. But I'm telling you, I see Trump being held in contempt.
Yeah, I agree.
Freedom of speech does not give a person the right to vilify others and try to create violent acts against them. And I heard about the papers that motion for the
Mhm.
mistrial, which is not going to happen.
Right, I agree. I
And
agree.
they were calling like the legal assistant a co-judge. There is no such thing. It's
Mhm.
crazy. So some of his lawyers, I think, are going to be sanctioned and even lose their legal license because of this,
Good.
because they knew better.
I feel like their appeal is going to be laughed at by whoever looks at it. Like, you can't be serious with it. That's what I feel.
Well, they're hiding under the umbrella of appeal because they think right now they can get by with it, but
Mhm.
it's going to bite them where the sun don't shine.
Can they if they go to appeal it, can the appeal be dismissed before it even goes to court? Because I
You-
almost feel like it might be dismissed. Like,
well,
they might try to take
the
it up
judges can agree not to
to
hear
take
the
it.
appeal, and it goes
Yeah.
back to the lower court.
I almost feel like that might be the case.
Well,
But
I didn't know that the appeal would stay the judge's orders. I thought a higher judge would have to, or judges would have to say they're staying that judge's order for contempt.
mhm.
I don't know if appeal really takes the like nullifies a judge's order right now. I don't know.
I think it is, it's like it's suspended while it's being appealed, I believe. I could be wrong, but,
Well,
um
they are in trouble. This is misconduct on the part of
mhm.
his lawyers, and they're gonna be in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And
I
that would
agree with
answer
you. I feel like there's definitely contempt. I always feel like Judge Chutkin from DC is the one that really lays the hammer down. Um, but I feel like if anything, this is just pissing off Engoron, and Engoron's going to give Trump pretty close to the max of what Letitia James is looking for in
You got
damages.
that right. And also the judge in Georgia ain't gonna put up with any shenanigans.
Yeah.
And the judge, well, maybe not Eileen Loose Cannon, she's gonna be off the bench. But Chutkin, she's not gonna put up with, you're right, she's not gonna put up
Mhm.
with any shenanigans either. So
Judge Cannon, I don't know what she did, but I was reading on like Midas Touch. There was a posting about how like she did something extreme again, and I just feel like it's a matter of time before Jack Smith goes back up to um the court and asked for her to be removed because she's got conflict of interest there. Clearly, she's being biased with Trump.
oh, she's got a huge, you're right, she is biased. And I think I know that'll come back to bite her too.
Yeah, and I've always felt a deal between the two of them. I've said that. I don't know when she'll be removed, but I feel like we're getting closer to it than it might be. I mean, it might be like end of winter, beginning of spring, but
I
I
don't
feel like
know
we're
how
getting
they have
closer
to do
to it.
that, file a motion to have her taken off the case, but they have to have enough proof or
Hmm.
something to do
That's
that.
what they're doing now, but I feel like they're getting closer and closer to making that
Well,
violent.
Jack Smith is 100 moves ahead of Loose Cannon and
Mhm.
Trump's lawyers in that case.
Yeah. Maggie Who says, "Do you think Judge Engoron's clerk will sue Trump and his lawyers for defamation?" I'm not feeling that. I don't feel like she's gonna even deal with it. Although I think she has every right to do that. But
But if she's ever hurt or injured, then she can prove personal
well,
injury because
yeah.
of what they did. So I still see Trump under house arrest.
Hmm.
Yay, with a
I
tether.
hope so. Somebody can shut him up.
And maybe he goes too far out, I'll give him a jolt.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Somebody says, Connie Beach, it's about time for the justice to slam the hammer down. I'm tired of waiting.
Mhm.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Ross saying, "What's going on with Univision and Trump? Why are they promoting Trump and canceling Biden commercials? Why did the anchor quit?"
Somebody else had a question about that. Um, well, I think it's one or twofold. Number one, I think behind the scenes there's some ultra right wing organization that wants to buy Univision. And if they do, they won't own it long. The second part is, I think in a way it's good they canceled Biden's appearance and put Trump in. I think it's Trump and his people's way of trying to get the Hispanic vote. But you know
You
what?
say backfiring.
It'll backfire. So
Yeah.
in a way, by doing that, they did Biden a favor.
I agree. I got that the exact same thing. Like, it's going to backfire on them, and I don't know about buying Univision, but I feel like there's definitely an agreement between the two of them, and thinking that they can help influence the Hispanic vote. But like I said, I feel like it backfires too.
Um, I agree.
And I think the anchor quit because he maybe didn't directly see that the agreement was going on, but um, disagrees with Trump and the extremism from the Republican Party and didn't want to be a part of it. I don't know who the anchor was, or I don't watch Univision, so I'm not super knowledgeable about it. Um, but yeah, I feel it backfiring.
Okay, so Jody just commented something. Jody Highgard, and she
Hmm.
said the judge stayed the gag order today. Okay, so it's not in effect. All right, the attorney general isn't going to respond to case dismissal motion until December 9th, hoping case is over so he can't temporarily stop the case. So, oh, I get it now. My light bulb went on. My Mel light bulb, not my psychic
Hmm.
one. So they would file for um, a case dismissal because it would stop the case, but
I
not
don't
going
see it working.
not going to happen. So you know what? Trump's lawyers think they're being smart, but guess what?
Hmm.
The judges and Jack Smith and a lot of the lawyers in this case, even in New York, are much smarter.
They're playing chess, and Trump and his attorneys are playing checkers.
Sylvia Munoz, I love what she said.
Yeah.
Yay! Special counsel investigate President Biden's handling of classified materials. Will not bring charges. The Republicans' heads are going to explode. You were
Hmm.
right, guys.
Yeah. I
Kevin,
didn't think
can
he
I
should
ask you a
charge
second
people.
question? Do you see
Yeah.
a lot of exploding heads in the Republican Party?
Well, they're going to lose it, and they're just going. It's going to even further escalate their attacks on the DOJ and saying that they're targeting the Republicans. Wait till Jack Smith starts indicting some of the Congress people for January 6th and their involvement. It's like it's going to escalate.
Shall we just kind of all those people send them some Prozac? Sweetie, darling, Lulu said the interview was ridiculous. I rest my
Oh, I
case.
believe it.
Okay.
Yeah, and she says too, Trump is basically telling Hispanic immigrants he will put them in camps. Yeah, do you think that's going to really get Hispanics out there to vote for Republicans? It's not.
Oh, so let's deport people. Let's put them in concentration
Yeah.
camps. That's exactly what it would be.
Mhm. Well, he's saying that's what they want to do with the immigrants across the border, put
Oh,
them
I
in camps.
know. It would be. It's almost a playbook out of Mein Kampf.
Hmm.
I've studied World War II extensively. My dad was in World War II, and I studied how Hitler came to power. And you kind of wonder how it happened. It's kind of happening here.
Yeah. The thing though is I don't think Trump has the intellect to. I'm not saying that others around him don't, but Trump doesn't have the intellect to do all of that and get away with that.
Well, he thinks he's smart, but
He thinks.
he's making this whole like that motion I watched on the Midas Touch. Uh, it's nothing but a political rally, and it's a
Mhm.
complete fu judge. But that's going to bite Trump and his lawyers. I'm
Mhm.
telling you. Mark my words. My guides tell me.
Do you feel with Trump too? And every time I read on him, I get like obvious like health problems. Like I'm drawn to the chest, even the gut. But I there's a major cognitive decline going on with him, and I said that I felt there was some dementia there even when he was president. But I think it's all the stress is really exacerbating that. He doesn't even make sense anymore.
Well, intuitively, I've been saying for a long time he's got head issues coming, like stroke or
Yeah.
dementia or something. So there's clearly something going on neurologically with him. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Um, you
Yeah.
know,
I'm
uh,
just going to follow up on this. I agree with you, Kirichi. It's not going. Immigrants aren't going to be placed in camps, but that's what he's threatening.
oh, well, if God forbid that should happen, it won't be immigrants. It would be people who disagree with him. It would be
Hmm.
people who uh, could be LGBTQ, transgendered. I mean, where does it stop?
Yeah. Did he ever really make sense?
Oh,
No, but it's I mean, before it was just not speaking in complete sentences and not making sense, but it's getting extreme. I mean, he's making up scenarios in his head like he ran against Obama and I don't know, other
His
crazy stuff going
nonsense has
on.
become more nonsensical.
Yeah.
What's that novel, George Orwell's 1986 or 1989, whatever it is?
Hmm.
It's like a playbook from that. In the middle of a sentence, he changes his position,
Yeah.
and people buy it. It's frightening.
Yeah.
Uh, and Doris says Trump and his people are Lisa Foster. Hey, Lisa, how are you, girlfriend? I'm glad y'all got Andy Bashir for governor.
Yes. It's extreme, but he's always
He
talking
talks in
the truth. I
circles.
agree.
He doesn't even finish the circle.
Mm.
And Doerr says Trump and his lawyers are playing mousetrap. Yeah, and they're going to get caught in it too, in Doerr.
Mhm. Yonique asks, will new Texas bill pass that state police can now arrest undocumented migrants? I feel it being challenged, but I feel like they might pass it. Is kind of what I'm feeling.
Well, if it does pass, and it probably will, it'll be taken to the Supreme Court
Hmm.
and it will be held unconstitutional because you're arresting without probable cause. So what they're going to say is we did have probable cause, but they're undocumented. Well, then how did you know they're undocumented? Did you pull them over because they look undocumented? What
Right.
probable cause did you have? So, I don't know what article of the Constitution it violates, but at least 3 or 4 of them.
Mm.
Illegal search and seizure is one. So, and it's racist at its
Yeah.
core. So if it does, it's just like back in Texas, I think in the early 2000s, they had anti-sodomy laws. And they set up a gay couple and the police broke in and they arrested them for sodomy. And these guys, they were convicted in court. They took it to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said it's unconstitutional
Right.
to have those sodomy laws. And then Texas couldn't enforce it anymore and take it off the books. So it helped LGBTQ people. So I hope Texas doesn't pass that, but if they do, and they probably will, it'll go to the Supreme Court, and that's going to tremendously help
Yeah.
uh,
I agree.
migrants.
I
So
didn't even know that they had a bill that they were bringing up on that. So thank you
I need
for asking that, Yonique. But as soon as I read it, I felt like it was going to be appealed and um, that it was unconstitutional.
um, did we put up this one by about Mark Davis? I don't know. I'll star it, and if we get to it, if we've already done it, then whatever.
You can pull it up if you want.
I don't know if we Mark Davis one. Oh, go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry. I just want to read them.
Oh, you're fine. You can read it if you want.
Go ahead.
Mark Davis wants to be 45 AG. He said he will put millions of children in cages. He will get rid of 10 million people. He wants the Bidens in jail. Then at the end, it would be glorious. Yeah, and that's where I'm saying Trump's energy and what he's saying. He may have done some of those things, but it's getting even darker and darker. Pretty much quoting verbatim Hitler's speech, calling his opponents vermins, and the element is getting really, really kind of dark.
Everything that they're saying here, and I
Mhm.
remember when Trump said this before, everything he accuses everybody else of doing is everything he's done. Like when he said, if I were president to Hillary Clinton, you'd be in jail. Well, here you go,
Mhm.
Donald. So Mark Davis, he'll never be in politics. Well, if he
Yeah.
is, he's not going to go anywhere with it. So, Mark, I can't say what I really want to say to you because we'll get put in YouTube jail. But, buddy, all I can say is read between the lines. Church lady.
Yeah, I don't even know who Mark Davis is, but
I don't
I
either, but I'll read the others between the lines, Mark.
yeah, he must not be super relevant.
It makes me angry just to read something like
Yeah.
that. That's just inhumane.
That's the thing I think with Trump, and I think for a lot of people, obviously, the hateful rhetoric and all of that, but locking up kids and separating from the parents and locking them in cages, just so inhumane.
It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Somebody says it is unconstitutional. There you go. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Crazy Shark says, "Hi, Kevin and Mel. Will the government shut down tank the stock market?" Well, the government, I felt like there was a shift. It's hard because I do feel like there will be a short shutdown, and maybe it's in January and February when these CR bills need to be voted on again. Because I just feel like chaos in the Republican Party in the meantime. But I've actually seen since that, well, the House and the Senate, I think, have both voted and passed it. It'll go to Biden, and he'll sign it. But the stock market's been actually doing pretty good lately.
I don't know if they'll have the coagiones. I can say that it's foreign to shut it down during an election year because they know it's going to bite them. And if they do, it's suicide. But,
Some of them want to actually shut down the government. The extremists, they don't care. I think they like the chaos.
oh, they do.
Some of them want to actually shut it down and hurt people.
The MAGAs want the chaos. They
Mhm.
want the anarchy because they can say, you see what's happening? We can fix it. That's how dictators come to power.
Yeah. It's crazy too because you know, Mike Johnson had to work with Democrats to get the CR bills done. They haven't really came out and said that they're going to do the same thing to him as McCarthy. And I do feel like there's energy we might hear talk about it, but I think it's when they vote on it again after the holidays. I feel like he might be out sometime January, February. I've been feeling that pretty
I
strongly.
see him gone too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm starring here while you're reading.
This one's a quick one, but Bobby wants to know if Trump was Hitler in a past life. I don't.
No, please.
I don't feel that at all.
He's not smart enough to be anybody.
Exactly.
In a past life, he was a cockroach.
He's been pathetic in quite a few lives, hasn't he?
He evolved from was an insult to an earthworm or a cockroach. I know what happened was, karmically somebody mixed the bottom of the pond and all the stuff came to the top, and that's what he incarnated.
I hadn't heard this. Diane says Eugene Vindman, brother of Alexander Vindman, is running to take Abigail Spanberger's seat in the House in Virginia. Well, he won. I do feel like Spanberger is going to be successful in her governor run.
Is she Democrat or Republican? I don't even know.
She's a Democrat. I think I tell me if I'm wrong, but I think she's running for governor, and I feel like there's success there. I feel like Youngkin is out.
Well, if she gets out, really campaigns and all that stuff, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know who Eugene Vindman is, but I feel really optimistic about it. I'm going to throw a card on him. But like the name definitely kind of resonates with taking her seat.
Kevin Lewis is in the house. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Kevin, you're going to come on my 20K show. Oh, did I just tell him or invite him? I don't know what I did there. Okay.
It's interesting because I do get like, it's a new beginning for him. So good luck following him with the Wheel of Fortune. He's taking over her seat. It might be, I think her seat is a little swing district, so I think it might be close, but I feel like he'll be victorious in it.
That she will or he will?
That Eugene Vindman will take her seat. But if I remember correctly, I think she's in a pretty like 50-50 swing seat. And so I think it's going to be close, but I think he's going to win it. The name really is resonating with me.
Okay. I got cold chills with that, so that's a yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Connie B says, I'm Native. There is always suspicion around us too. Yeah, you know what? I forgot to bring up the natives. You're right, the Native Americans. But I wrote here, I see a comeback to affirmative action. And at some point, once we get a different Supreme Court, I see affirmative action being upheld. And at some point, I see LGBTQ people as a minority and natives as a minority. And, folks, just because it might look like they're winning the war, just because it looks like they're winning in the battle doesn't mean they'll win the war. So I see that we're going to get back to a lot of inclusiveness and acceptance, tolerance. And so, there's always going to be bigots and there's always going to be racism and prejudice. But I see it going back in the woodwork.
I feel like 5 to 10 years from now, those people that were Republicans that supported Trump will not say that they voted for Trump because they're going to be ashamed. That's what I feel.
It's the same that happened in Nazi Germany with the people who liked Hitler. And after the war, they all kind of...
Nobody supported him.
Correct.
Yeah, But I feel like the same. All right.
Okay,
Rudy asks, "Do you see the children being returned to Ukraine who were captured um, and sent to Russia?" I
not
don't feel like all of them, but I do feel like there's a majority of them being returned.
Hi, Sharon. Thank you. Sharon Sipe is with us. I
Welcome.
agree. I think maybe when they're not minors anymore and they become older, they'll get reunited with their parents. So that's what I
I
think.
do feel like there might have been some trafficking with some of them, though.
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree. Totally. Totally, I agree with that. Um, okay, guys, if you want a booking a reading with Kevin, call him. He's a great reader. And also, he does wonderful Reiki sessions. So give him.
Okay. I've been pretty busy with the Reiki. It's been a lot of fun. Or I do combos of the Reiki and reading. So if you want to kind of ask your guides what you need help with on your healing journey, anything to maybe help
Here,
release or anything to focus on during the journey, during the session, those can be pretty helpful too.
I put Sharon's little.
Thank you, Sharon. Very sweet. I
He's
appreciate
a
that.
sweetie. And Kevin Lewis is here. I said that, right?
Mhm.
Hi, Kevin. Okay, go
Let
ahead,
me pull up this. Jody says, "Hi, Kevin and Annie Mel. I'm more anxious about Biden versus another repug. Most readers don't see the former guy on November ballot, but see Biden winning. Does MAGA stay home from the polls without the former guy?" I feel like that it's almost like with this implosion, um, the Republican Party is going to be very divided. There'll be some MAGA voters that I don't see coming out to vote at all because I've said I don't think he's going to be on the ballot in November. I just feel like chaos and it's like division among the Republican Party and the turnout being low. Now, that's not to say that it's not important for us all to come together and have high turnout, which I think we're going to with, you know, a lot of women are coming out to vote and young kids too. But but I do feel like there's some MAGAs that don't vote for regular Republicans. It's going to really just depend on each race.
that's what I see. But I see Trump's name off the ballot in 2 or 3 states. And if that's
Okay.
the Supreme Court, they're going to say, well, does the state have the right to take his name off the ballot if he's convicted of high crimes and misdemeanors? I say the answer is yes.
Okay.
Um, you know, so I think
They've
some
had a couple states. I think the only one that they're waiting to hear back from is Colorado, but the other three states have said that they can't take him off the ballot as
TFG,
of yet.
who should do what?
The
Most.
former guy.
Oh, I got it. I didn't get that. Okay, duh. Um, it's weird. I'm not even sure he's going to win the nomination right now.
Okay.
He might, but I tell you who's going to give him a run for his money is Chris Christie.
No, you think?
I do.
I don't know though. It's just so crazy. I feel like he might get the nomination, and then it's a health episode. Maybe there's a health episode before some of these primaries, and they put somebody else in. I
Or
almost feel like
runs as
he's.
an independent,
Hmm.
Chris Christie, and gets on as an independent with write-in votes, and that takes votes away from TFG. That's too nice for him, the former guy.
Well, you could turn it into something else too if you want to
I
use
know, I got it.
obscenities.
That's what I was thinking, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Um, well,
We'll keep it PG.
and I'll tell you who they're going to try to, really, he's not a Democrat. He says he is, but he's a dino. Is that Kennedy guy? He is certifiably crazy.
Yeah,
No
he's tough.
vaccines, no this, no that, blah blah blah. I mean, he's a playbook from Conspiracy Theory Central.
Hmm. But I don't see him being a threat for Biden. I feel like Democrats are not for crazy, and they can see. It's like he takes votes away from Trump.
Well, it's funny. Um,
And now we have
Biden
Manchin.
speak the first time I cried because he's so presidential. And he's not into all this chaos and all this showmanship and barnstorming and all of that. He's just not.
Who are you talking about?
Biden is not into all that
Oh yeah.
barnstorming and craziness and stuff.
Hmm.
When I saw him talk when he first won the election, I cried
Yeah.
because it was so presidential.
Mhm.
You
It's
know,
like we needed, somebody with all of that experience and a mature adult in government again, in the presidency.
Yeah, right.
But it's going to be what I don't think we've read on it because I think it happened afterwards. I don't think we read on it last week. But what's your feeling on Manchin? I think he's going to start one of those campaigns to look into running for president. But do you feel like he's going to actually run for president?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't feel like he'll be on the ballot. Like nobody, I feel like nobody even cares about him. He doesn't get any momentum. It's like he tries to have a rally and like two people are there.
Exactly. I just, for entertainment purposes only, I wonder if anybody got in his pocket and told him not to run.
That's what I felt.
Because in my opinion, he's another dino.
Give the Republicans a Senate seat and take votes away from Biden. Who does that benefit?
Exactly. That's exactly why. They
The
might.
thing,
The Republicans might win a Senate seat in Virginia. I don't know though. We still have Arlington, Virginia, but that's
it's West Virginia that
oh,
he's
it's
from.
West Virginia. Well, there you go. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But I
Kim
still,
said she felt like the Democrat, and I don't even know who that is yet, was going to win. I felt like it's going to be the governor that's a Republican, but I think he used to be a Democrat.
well, I see probably a Republican a Manchin seat. But it's not gonna change the election, and it's not gonna
Mm,
change the Senate. I still see the Democrats holding the Senate.
mhm. Yeah, well, and it's a that's actually what has me scared the most. Although logically, when I logically think about it, it scares me. Intuitively, I feel great for Democrats with the Senate, but it's a really tough Senate map for Democrats. But I feel like we're going to get a couple of surprise wins out of red states, like maybe Texas, Florida. Holly could be out. Like it feels like there's a couple. It doesn't feel like it's a blowout, but it feels like
Well,
Democrats keep their seats and we flip like maybe two or three of the Republican seats blue.
I agree. Look at what just happened.
Hmm.
This last election, it really was a blue wave. A
Yeah.
lot of those Republican areas went Democrat because women are hopping mad about Roe v. Wade.
And abortion's going to be on the ballot in Florida and quite a few of these states, so it's going to drive out that turnout.
Okay.
I'll just say lastly before we move on from Manchin, which I would be glad to because I feel like he's a traitor, but I don't feel Democrats don't care for him. He's too conservative for the Democratic Party and most of the Democratic voters. And Republicans hate him because he's a Democrat. So who's really going to back him?
Exactly. Here, I got to put this on. This one's good. I'll let you read it. This is good, Zach. Zach, you know what, Zach? You're going to win a half-hour reading from me for this one.
Oh, man.
I'll give away a half-hour reading. Early 20K. You win a half-hour reading because this comment is I love this.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta
Zach, how many Republicans does it take to change the light bulb? None. They like to be in the dark. Amen. But the thing is that we're getting the spotlight illuminating on all the things they've gotten hidden before the next election.
Exactly.
So. All right.
Okay. I'm still stirring, Kevin. I don't know if we'll answer Mom, but
Oh, you're good.
I'm still going.
Colorful foresight. Hi, Kevin and Mel. I had a psychic hit that Chump is going to jail. Sometime timelines jump to our favor. I could be wishful thinking on my part, however, for sure Trump feels like he is in jail right now.
Well, he
that's
is.
a good point. And you said that you feel like he might get some kind of house arrest.
I do see that.
I do feel like there is a timeline where Trump is, I don't know if it's jail, but it might be like institutionalized. And I feel like that could be maybe he has a major health episode and he lives through it and so they lock him up for a little bit because of all of his crimes. But I've never personally felt prison for Trump.
I never saw prison, which I think is terrible if he's convicted because we would have been thrown away forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see house arrest for him, and I predict, I intuit, if you will, if there is a verb to intuit, to see,
Mm-hmm.
to predict, that it's going to be for contempt. Because other judges are going to hold him in contempt and they could try to appeal it. But guess what? If you say, I'm putting you in jail, and then he's in jail for our house arrest until it's appealed, and the appeal is stayed, or the order is stayed, I don't know. But I see him under house arrest.
Yeah.
Trump wants to go to jail for contempt because then he can use that. You see, but house arrest, that's different.
Yeah. I could see maybe Chutkin doing it, although I feel like it's going to be more so of like threatening to move the court date back a little bit, although it's supposed to happen in March, so we're getting pretty close to that. I get that it's all going to be okay. We have justice and the government stepping in. Um, you know, I do get that there's some wish fulfillment. Um, so it's like they're going after him hard, but I do feel like there's some disappointment with it too. I think the thing is that it's unprecedented, and they don't want to start a precedent of um, sending presidents to prison, and then you have the whole um, security issue with it. But I almost feel like the health might take him out before it would even be too
I've
late.
been saying for a long time that he's got some huge health issues coming.
Hmm.
I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right.
all right.
Oh, this is a good one. Sylvia wants to know, will James Comer and his brother be investigated for dirty business?
Yes, yes, and yes.
It's funny because James Comer is like really heading up on the Hunter Biden investigations, and I think they're subpoenaing him and Biden's brother because they said that Biden had a crooked deal with his brother, or was sending money or something like that. Meanwhile, he wasn't president or VP when that happened, but I don't remember who the congressperson was, but it was like for Comer did the same thing with his brother, loaned him money for the same amount, and so he was really calling him out, and Comer was getting pissed off and becoming unhinged. And I don't know if it's actually investigated, but I feel like there's more energy and more coming out about that.
Oh, I agree. A lot more coming out
Hmm.
because I see the moon, and that means a keeper of the secret. So a lot coming to the surface,
Hmm.
and it ain't pretty.
Yeah. Kat says, will Biden be running against Trump or Haley? Been hearing a Biden versus Haley matchup will give us the first non-white female president. I don't feel Haley becoming president
I
at
don't
all.
either. I don't see that. I hope, but maybe she could get the nomination because it should take Trump out of the picture.
Yeah, but I do agree that I feel like if anybody was going to beat Biden, it would probably be Haley, and I don't see her as president, so I don't see that
I
even
don't
being.
either. So,
But there are a lot of Republicans that I think would have a hard time voting for a female, so maybe the turnout wouldn't be that great. But she's the only responsible, viable person running in the Republican primary right now. That's somewhat competent. I mean, I don't agree with her politics, but
I don't
she's
agree
got a
with
plan for
politics at
things.
all.
The other ones are just kind of throwing red meat to their base and seeing who can be the most stupid and outrageous.
I know it just gets crazier and crazier. Every time you think it gets more crazy, they go to crazy town even
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of tired of them going to crazy town, but I have to sit back and laugh. It's so
It's
ridiculous. It's
exhausting, though.
dangerous, but it's so ridiculous that you got to laugh at it.
Well, the thing is it's going to be ridiculous until some of these spineless Republicans finally put their foot down and call out the extremism in their party and not back down from it and demand that they change the direction of the party. And that's really their lesson that they have to learn. I was hoping maybe they would learn it when they were trying to vote in the speaker, but I don't think they're quite ready yet. But I do see it I see it starting to happen before the election. So, of
Can I put a comment up, Kevin?
course.
Yogi Bear, I'll let you read it.
Are MAGA afraid Mexican race will be the majority in the future, Kevin or Mel? Yeah, I don't know if it's just specifically Mexican, but it's minorities being the majority in the future.
That's what they're
Not
worried about.
straight white men. They want to keep the power with straight white men.
That's
That's what they want for the
what they're
country.
worried about. And right
Yeah.
now we're having the American apartheid. In South Africa for years they had the apartheid. It was a small group of whites telling the Africans and every other minority what to do
Mhm.
until apartheid was overturned. and Nelson Mandela started. He was in jail for a very long time. And
I wasn't laughing at I was laughing at a comment in the chat.
no, that's okay. Apartheid called him a terrorist, but he wasn't. He was a freedom fighter. And this American apartheid that we're having now will end at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so, you know what? America is a melting pot. That's what we're based on. So the MAGAs are absolutely afraid of that. Totally afraid of that.
Mm-hmm. It was Moskowitz is the one that was going up against Comer, and I think Comer called Moskowitz a Smurf. I'm glad that he did that. There's something about him that I personally, with his energy, kind of I don't fully trust with Moskowitz. That's just me personally. I feel like he seems like he could be kind of a douche. Is kind of what I pick up when I hear him talk, even though he's a Democrat. But at least I applaud him for standing up and really kind of giving the Republicans a dose of their own medicine. That's where Democrats have really failed in the past. It's they kind of just ignore all of the crazy Republican statements, thinking that it's better just to ignore it and not give energy to it. But it's so important with these elections. There's so much at stake that Democrats really need to grow a spine and really message and play fire with fire. So
they're starting to now. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, who I really like, and I tell you who's going to be president one day is Wes Moore of Maryland.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Jeffries will be Speaker of the House.
Mm-hmm.
He just got a way about him. It's a charisma. I hope Jeffries runs for president because he could win.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel president, but I definitely feel Speaker of the House, and I think he's got a lot of leadership.
Absolutely. And he'll do a phenomenal job, and he will not put up with any shenanigans, but he's going to try to get people to work together.
Yeah. Well, this is a good question. Do you feel Pete Buttigieg will run for Senate? I feel like president, and I feel like he's going to be a VP.
He's going to run for president one day, and in our lifetime, we'll probably see a gay president.
Well, very well could be him. I could see that. I think after the position he's in now, I feel energy that he might be Secretary of State. I've said when Kamala ends up taking over for Biden during his second term, that I felt Buttigieg might actually be her VP pick that she puts in there. I could definitely see that.
Well, all I can say about Buttigieg is he's shown himself politically and can handle. I've seen him go against the MAGAs, and
he's so smart.
Oh,
he actually has. He will go on Fox News and tell the Republicans off. You don't see a whole lot of Democrats going on Fox News and dealing with the crap. Well, I don't blame them.
Stuff, and essentially he kills them with facts. So when there's some stuff that's BS, he tells them F you with facts. And, he doesn't get mad. He just.
Yeah, he's so sharp.
He's really bright. And
can you imagine how much of a fit Republicans would throw if we had a black female president and a gay male VP? They would lose it. It would be hilarious.
Come out and say anything like that, could they?
I think we would hear some of them. Some of them couldn't keep it to themselves.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Oh, this is funny. Can I put this up? This is the good. I love this.
You don't have to ask, Mel. Put it up. Republicans are definitely living in dark ages. If a man had to carry and give birth to a baby, you can bet that there would be no restrictions on abortions. Love you, Kevin and Mel. Yes, amen. Can you imagine if women were in the majority of our Congress and they said that, all men had to have vasectomies and just so to stop procreating, like it would be crazy. Or telling them that they always have to wear condoms.
Or they said to all men, there was a machine that actually can stimulate labor pains, muscle contractions. So you have to wear that for 24 hours of hard labor. Right. I've had kidney stones. And I remember going in the emergency room, there was a nurse, and she goes, "Oh my God, you've got kidney stones." She goes, "You know what? I've had 5
Mhm.
kids, I have kidney stones, and kidney stones are worse." I go, "Yeah, but you got babies. I got a little rock." Right? So
Right.
maybe all those guys should have to have kidney stones,
No.
and they could figure out what excruciating pain is really all about.
Right. Only the good ones will be able to procreate. Right, Connie.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just
Thanks.
it's crazy. It's asinine.
All right.
All right.
We got time for a few more, huh?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to pick a. Oh, this is a good one. Will Hunter Biden subpoena any Congress member like MTG? I did hear that he wants to subpoena Trump and Barr, some of his for starting the investigation, and had it not been for them politicizing it because he's Biden, they
The
wouldn't have
answer
went
to
after
that is
him.
yes. And if this
Mhm.
goes to trial, my psychic light bulb just went on. I feel
I
this,
think he's going to sue some members.
I think it's going to be a mistrial
Mm,
or something.
hmm
But if it goes to trial, they're idiots. But I do see those people being summoned, yes, um, or subpoenaed. And if they
hmm
don't show up, they're going to be in deep trouble because Marjorie Taylor Greene wouldn't show up. But
Well,
he's
right.
going to sue her for defamation and the stuff she pulled, and he's going to win.
Yeah, I feel there's a lawsuit for some in Congress. Um,
Well, then it's going to be millions she's going to have to pay out.
oh, does she even have that much?
Who knows? But she can't. I don't know if bankruptcy would, if she could declare that in a bankruptcy. But
Right.
she can't use her campaign money for that because that's misappropriation of campaign funds.
Do you feel like though with him asking to subpoena Trump for his thing, I can feel like where maybe Barr would show up, but with Trump, I feel like he wouldn't show up,
I'm sorry,
or
saying
there would be some
oh,
way he would
Trump
talk his
wouldn't
way
show
out
up.
of the
Absolutely
subpoena. I
not.
don't see him
I don't
showing
have
up.
to show up.
No.
So he'd be held in contempt of Congress.
Oh, Deanne says Hunter filed a cease and desist on MTG. Good for him.
Good. And guess what? It's going to stand up. And if she
Hmm
ignores it, she's going to be in deep trouble. Can we just end with this good one right here? Well,
Yeah,
whenever you want to end, but this is a good one. I like this, and
yeah.
I'm so
We've been
proud.
on for about an hour, so we can end here.
I'm glad that Froxy Roxy brought this up. Go ahead, Kevin. It's really good.
Uh, this Mexican Indian has never been or ever will be a Republican. Those who do not, those that do, don't understand their hidden motives.
Motives.
Hmm
In other words, any like Native American or Mexican who becomes a Republican doesn't understand the hidden motives of the
hmm
Republican.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're sure showing themselves with some of that rhetoric, talking about arresting all migrants and separating children from their parents again and locking the kids up in cages. I mean, it's just
That's
stuff.
frightening. That's just frightening to me, and it's not. That makes me angry.
Hmm
And it's okay to get angry as long as we let it push us forward and cause us to speak up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm outraged by so much that has happened with the Republican Party and that Trump's done. I don't always show it because I feel like I kind of tend to vibe, cool, calm, collect, grounded is what people say, which I think is why people find you know me so comforting in all these times. But that was really really hard for me, and just it disgusting to do that to children.
There's going to be so much coming about that. I pulled the 5 of Hearts, which means
Hmm
exposure of secrets and all of that. You know, I think my anger came out a little bit tonight because it
Yeah,
just
that's all
incinerated
right.
me.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm very loyal and very passionate,
hmm
especially when it comes to children's rights.
Yeah.
And, I think uh, infanticide, killing of innocent children, I don't care whether they're Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Islamic, I don't care. We
hmm
do not cage or kill children. We don't
Right.
do that. And it's happening in the world, and
It's happening everywhere.
it's scary. And
Yeah.
you know what? If we don't speak up and we allow it to happen, then we are holding that karmic responsibility.
Absolutely.
That's a responsibility I wish not to hold.
I
So,
agree 100%, Mel.
so I will continue to speak up about it. And if I have to get mad, I'll get mad. And
Yeah.
if I have to scream and yell, I'll scream and yell. And if I have to be a lobbyist about it, I'll do that too. I'll do whatever it takes to stop this killing of innocent children.
Amen. I didn't mean that as a dig towards you or
Well, no,
anything.
no, no,
I
no,
think that that's
no,
great, and I
no,
think that that's why I think that that's why people enjoy our show because I think our energies balance each other's out really
no,
well.
no, no. I didn't take it as a dig toward me. I
Okay.
didn't mean it that way. I'm just saying, no, 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 not at all. I didn't take it that way. I'm just simply saying that sometimes, I could tell that you were a bit angry about what's going on too. And
Yeah.
that's okay
Hmm.
because we don't have to accept the killing of innocent people or children or putting them in cages. That just,
Yeah.
that, oh,
Yeah. That really bothered me. Even to like I had a really messed up vision with the whole barbed wire over the river around Texas and all of that. That really bothered me too with children there. So, yeah, the children's. Um, I agree with you. We need to speak up and advocate for the children's safety and protection.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, like I said, if it's Palestinian children or Israeli children or Ukrainian children
Hmm.
or, you know, any children getting killed or put in cages is totally not acceptable.
Yeah.
It just isn't. And
And I think that really, I think even some Republicans saw that for what it was, and it really disgusted even some of the Republicans.
Kevin, anybody with a moral conscience would have seen
Hmm.
that what it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're playing on xenophobia. This ultra, that people in this country should all be white, Christian,
Right. Yeah.
and ruled by men.
Hmm.
Wrong answer. And you know what? It's going to blow up in their faces because I see an America where we have people from all walks of life and all sharing the power equally.
Hmm.
That's what I see coming
Well,
again.
that's why it's so heightened right now because
Right.
they feel the threat there and they see the things changing. And they have a rude awakening coming up, so they can resist and throw a fit all they want, but it's not going to change the inevitable. Where there's, I feel like we're entering a time where the divine female energy is coming in, the divine feminine. We're gonna have a female president sometime in the short term future. I think at some point we're gonna see an evenly divided House and Senate, women and men, um, and minorities in with that too. So they kind of have to. I think that that's part of the implosion too, because it's like they have to kind of grapple and come to terms of where we're headed, and to really kind of stop all the hatred that
And
they
what
have.
I see coming is if somebody tries to vilify a member of the House
Hmm.
or the Senate because they're a woman or because of their religion, like what Marjorie Taylor Greene is pulling, then I see the rules changing where that person can be sanctioned because they're not going to sanction bigotry and racism to be brought into those chambers.
Yeah,
So, there's a difference between freedom of speech and inciting hatred and
yeah,
hurting people. And so,
absolutely.
um, Kevin, I think you're doing a great job
No, thanks. You too, Mel.
in speaking up, and I'm glad that we have people like you in the community who do speak up.
Oh, yeah, and same with you, Mel. I always love how
I get
I
passionate.
love the Mel rants.
I get passionate.
Yeah, I love it. Like I said, I think that that's why our show works so well
Yes, we
because I think
balance
we
out
really
each other.
balance each other's
You are
energies
calm.
out.
I'm
Mhm.
ADD. Ah!
I'm ADD myself too, um, but yeah, it's it's like that yin and yang kind of energy.
But it works.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, my friend. Well,
I've
no show
found
next week because it will be Thanksgiving, but I'll be on Mel's channel the following Thursday, I believe.
yes,
And Mel's got his 20K party December 10th. I believe that's the right date. And
yes.
hopefully, I have a 10K party here soon. And of course, Mel will be here, and I'm sure a lot of other wonderful readers. Um, so if you haven't already, please make sure that you're subscribed to both of our channels. Please hit that thumbs up. If anybody would like a reading with Mel, how do they get a hold of you, Mel?
Call my office 847-590-5411 or email me mel@meldoerr.com.
Yeah.
And I want to say thank you to Sherry Hinkle and Aiden Davis
Yeah.
for agreeing to help with the 20K thing, because a lot of that's out of my skill set. So, but
It's a
Kevin,
lot to play in your own party and kind of coordinate, especially if you're having a lot of readers there. Like, how long can this person come, or what time are these people coming? And because if you kind of have to balance it a little bit. I've been on shows where there's been like 10, 12 people on the screen, and it's a bit much.
too much. Well, you
Yeah.
can, but you just kind of go round robin. But I just want to as many people in the community that can come on can, because
Yeah.
but Sherry, I'm not volunteering you. But if you need somebody to help you, Kevin, talk to Sherry, because she's really good at it.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
And go to her channel, Sherry Hinkle, Voices from the Swamp,
Yes.
and give her a thumbs up. And I think Kevin Lewis is watching, so give him a thumbs up. Give Kevin Chandler a thumbs up. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'll be on Tuesday for my Tuesday live. It'll probably be a little bit later. My members live will be on Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing any questions you want to ask, political, personal, spiritual topics. I'll do that one on one with my members. If you'd like to join that group, I have a link in my channel description, or the description box of this, or if you go into my channel, I have a link you can just click on. I'm gonna see if I can. I have a bit of a busy week next week, but maybe if I have time, maybe I'll jump on for an hour and do some personal questions solo too. So we'll see.
I think Deanna's on. I just saw her, and I think was it Celtic Tarot? She's on. So hi to them. Anyway, all right.
Everyone. Well, sending you a lot of love and blessings and well wishes for everybody's Thanksgiving, and we'll see y'all soon.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.